Good morning. This is Don again. I will try to keep this as short as humanly possible. But guess what? Your listing is active. This is just a couple of notes that I needed to give to you um, in case you are in a position where you have listed your property with me and it has become active. And maybe you've skimmed through the instructions. Maybe my instructions weren't totally lucid and clear to you. Uh, Maybe you're just excited about the whole process. So you're wondering, okay, what happens now? My listing's active. All right, just a couple of quick things that you need to do. Your listing is active. I sent you an email and I said, your listing is active and this is your MLS number. And I sent you um, a PDF copy of what realtors get to see. That way you can see that your telephone number, your contact information is on the listing, even though sometimes the public can't see it. The realtors see it, which after all is the purpose of the MLS. So I need for you to please, at your earliest convenience, check that out because above all else, we want it to be accurate. You want it to be accurate. I want it to be accurate. The MLS system wants it to be accurate. Um, After you do that and you let me know if there are changes that we need to make or if there are not, you need to go to a list of forms that I have sent for you. And there's one called the property condition disclosure. You need to fill that out. You're probably going to have to print that off and use a black ink pen and print that off and sign it. Then just put it on your printer and scan it, attach it, and send it back to me in an email. But I need that. We can put that on your listing right now. If you don't do it right now, eventually you will have to do it. It is the law that we have to give the buyer a completed property disclosure form prior to the closing. So if you don't do it now, then you're going to get held up. If you've got somebody ready to buy your house, you're going to have to stop and somebody's going to have to sit you down and say, well, you need to fill this out after all. So do the property condition disclosure. If you have not lived in the house, if you're selling the house you just inherited or whatever, then there's an exemption form you'll do instead of that and sign it and send it back to me. We'll attach any of these to the listing that are appropriate. So do the condition disclosure or the exemption form for why you don't have to do the disclosure. If your house was built recently, prior to after 1978, let's say, you're okay. But if it was built prior to that time, there is something called a lead based paint disclosure, which is much like the condition disclosure. But you have to go through it and check boxes and sign it and send that back to me too. If your house was built earlier, like we just talked about, then you're going to have to stop during the transaction and do it anyway. So get it done. Let's get it attached to the listing. So when somebody goes to buy your house, they don't have to look for it and you don't have to stop and do it. They can just reach out and get it right there. There are a couple of forms that you will sign during the process, during the transaction of the sale of your house. You will have to sign an agency disclosure form. I have put a copy of that completed properly on your listing. So another agent, if another agent's involved, they can just get the example right there attached to your listing. The agency disclosure form says that I am your agent because I'm the one with the key to the MLS. So I am your agent in this transaction. And on the example I've attached, I've checked the correct box to get checked. But eventually you're going to have to end up signing that form, as will I, and as will the buyer and the buyer's agent if there is a buyer's agent. The next form during the transaction is a compensation form. If the buyer is working with a realtor, that realtor will very possibly want to get some commission. So since I've got the key to the MLS on this side, I'm the one that gets to sign that compensation form. Whatever you directed me to sign, whatever amount you have directed me to offer for compensation or commission, then I will sign that form, and the other agent that wants to get paid will sign that form. You don't even get to sign that form at all. So that's the agency and the compensation forms are both going to be attached. Examples will be attached to your listing. I will direct you to look at another group that in that same group of forms. Another form there will be is a status change form. Anything that you want to change after we get active, anything about the MLS that you want to change, I really do need a status change form completed and signed by you. um, I need that for your file. I need that in case we ever get audited. um, when your listing becomes pending. Let's say somebody buys it, you accept their offer, and you want to make it pending. All right, I need that status change form that we just talked about. I need for you to mark that you want it to go pending. I need for you to sign it, and I need for you to send me a copy of the contract. So that form, whether you're going to go pending with a contingent on a repair or just plain old pending. Either way, anytime we change a status or anything about a listing, we need that form, the status change form. Now, if we're going pending, like I say, we need to also have a copy of the contract. When your house goes through closing and it's no longer your house, you've been paid for it, we need to mark it sold in the MLS. So you do need to send me the final status change form and a copy of the closing papers. Now, the MLS is pretty strict about us getting this stuff there on time. They give us about 24 to 48 hours to get it there. So just remember, when you sell your house, you accept a contract, send me a copy of the contract and the form. And when you sell and when you close the house, send me a copy of the closing statement and a copy of that form again. So those are the things that you're looking forward to. They won't come as a surprise to you now. If you read the directions, if you listen to this video, you're going to need to do those 3 or 4 little things. It's not a matter of argument. It's not something that I made up. It's something we have to do. So uh, don't be surprised. We need the property condition disclosure. We need the lead-based paint disclosure if that's applicable. We need to do the agency and the compensation and the status change forms. So there you got it. That's all for now. I'll get back with you soon. For right now, thanks for your business.